Hello everyone and welcome to today's Wild Rift video. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining everything you need to know about one of the newest items that got added into Wild Rift in patch 6.0, which is Yordle Trap. There's a lot of confusion with this item. There's also confusion as to what champions you should be building this item on. So I'll be explaining the item and the passive, and at the end of the explanation, I'll be taking you all into a gameplay with the best champion to go Yordle Trap on. Now with Yordle Trap in general, it is a very cheap item, one of the cheapest items in the game, coming in at 2,500 gold. It gives you maximum health, armor, and ability haste. So most of the time you want to use this on tank supports that have a lot of crowd control. But what crowd control effects work with the item? Well, what you need to do with this item is you need to displace the movement of an enemy. This basically means you need to force the enemy to move in a direction or go in a direction that they don't want to. Taunts, knockbacks, knockups as well, all of these work towards this item. Charm is also another crowd control effect that works. Crowd control effects that do not work are things like roots and stuns. This is because you're just stopping an enemy in its track. You're stunning an enemy in place, or you're rooting an enemy in place. You're not displacing the enemy. You're not forcing them in a direction that they don't want to go into. That is the big difference with this item. So you can think of champions off the top of your head already as I'm going to be explaining this item. Champions that force the enemies to move in a direction that they don't want to. And then when you apply this crowd control effect to displace the enemy, you gain movement speed, you reduce the armor and magic resist of the enemy champion, and also if they get marked and if they die, you grant 200 to 300 bonus gold that'll be evenly shared amongst you and nearby allies. So any nearby allies that are close by to you when the enemy dies and you proc this passive, you'll be able to gain the extra gold. Now this does mean that the number of stacks that you get on Yordle Trap doesn't show how much gold you're gaining yourself. It shows how much gold you have given to your wider variety of your team. So say for example, if you have 3,000 stacks of Yordle Trap, this isn't just 300 stacks towards yourself. This is 300 gold that you've given to yourself and also your entire team. And also this bonus gold can only be obtained once every 10 seconds. So if you apply multiple knockbacks or multiple charms and you get multiple takedowns, it will only apply one stack. You have to make sure that you time it correctly to get multiple stacks in one team fight. Now, let me show you some examples of some champions. And I think Maokai is probably the best champion to understand this item on, because his second ability and his ultimate do not work towards Yordle Trap. And his first ability does, but also doesn't. And I'll explain why. So your second ability has a root. As you can see, it roots the enemy champion in place, and you can pretty much do this on any champion in practice mode. Just make sure the enemy champion is standing in the middle of the lane, and then you can see if a ability displaces the movement of an enemy champion. So as I said, the second ability just roots. So as you can see, the enemy champion is not moving at all, and I'm rooting the champion in place. Same with the ultimate as well. Again, that's exactly the same. I'm just rooting the enemy champion in place, and I'm not actually displacing the movement at all. Now, the one ability that Yordle Trap does work with Maokai is when you stand close enough in range with your first ability. That inner circle, when you step into range with the inner circle with the Garen, you can see there, I am forcing the enemy champion to move in a direction that they don't want to. This is known, or this ability is known as a knockback. So you're knocking them back and you're sending them airborne. This will proc Yordle Trap. However, with Maokai, if you use your first ability at maximum range, you're only slowing enemy champions. So you're not actually going to get the effect for Yordle Trap. Maokai is still one of the champions that actually works very well with Yordle Trap, since you'll be using your second ability to get into range and then your first ability to knock them back into your enemy team. So you can still work very well with Yordle Trap. Again, it doesn't work on all your abilities, so you need to make sure that you use the right abilities at the right time, but it can still work very well. Now, another champion that is extremely good and probably a bit underrated really with Yordle Trap is Hecarim. Now this is going to take me probably some time to try and find Hecarim, because I don't know what order these are in. There we go. So with Hecarim, you'll be surprised to know that his ultimate and his second ability both work towards Yordle Trap. And the great thing about Hecarim is, since because of his passive, he's able to gain attack damage based on his bonus movement speed. Your passive on Yordle Trap, when you mark an enemy champion, you're gaining that 30% bonus movement speed, means that you'll be gaining more damage. So even though you don't get the damage from the item itself, because of Hecarim's passive, you gain the extra damage. Now again, you've got one thing, which is fear on your ultimate. So again, if you fear the enemy champion, you're forcing the enemy champion to move in a direction that they don't want to. And the same with your third ability. Your third ability works as a knockback, and you can see you're forcing the enemy champion to move in a direction that they don't want to. So your ultimate and your third ability both work towards Yordle Trap. And again, this is great for Hecarim when you get into team fights, because you're going to be marking them, reducing their armor and mass resist, so you can deal more damage, and also you gain more movement speed to be able to get the extra stacks. Another champion that I wanted to talk about as well is Rammus. Now again, I'm gonna have to try and find Rammus and see where he is. There we go. Now Rammus only works with one ability, but that one ability is what gives him really the damage and the carry potential of what can win him in team fights, and it is with his third ability, Taunt. Now with taunts, again, you're forcing the enemy champion to move in a direction that they don't want to. When you're taunted, you can't get out of the taunt and you can't escape from your taunt. Let me make sure I level up to make sure I do that. Again, things like slows don't work, because slows still allow enemy champions to walk in the direction they want to, but it will just slow them. So your ultimate will not work. Your first ability will also work. Actually, I completely forgot about the first ability. I said one ability. There's actually two abilities for Rammus. So you have your first ability, which works as a knockback. Again, you're forcing the enemy champion to move in a direction. And your taunt also works, because your third ability works as a taunt to be able to get them to force them to go into a direction. And again, as I mentioned, things like knockups also work. So you got champions like Alistar, champions like Rakan, but the best champion to go Yordle Trap on, which I'll be talking about later on in a video, and I'll be explaining a full gameplay of how you can use Yordle Trap and when to build Yordle Trap, is none other than Blitzcrank. If again I can find the champion somewhere, oh, there he is. Blitzcrank. Now, the main reason why this item is so damn powerful on Blitzcrank is because it works with his first ability, which is his pull. Again, the pull means you're pulling enemy champions towards you, forcing them to move in a direction that they don't want to. So when you're pulling enemy champions towards you, you're reducing their armor and magic resist, you're pulling them into your team, and then you can also silence them and even knock them up afterwards, which means it makes it very difficult for them to escape. So when you pull an enemy champion with your hook, again, this will count towards Yordle Trap. Your knock up on your third ability will also work towards Yordle Trap. So Blitzcrank has two core abilities that he always uses in his kit. Again, Blitzcrank is evolved very much around his hook. If he can land a hook, he can carry fights, because he can knock up and silence afterwards and do a whole bunch of damage, and also reduce the armor and magic resist. And at the same time, it also gives him movement speed as well. So that means he can move around, whether to kite back, whether to engage forward to try and land the knock up. So Blitzcrank is by far the best champion to build on Yordle Trap. And again, we're going to be going into a gameplay now where I'll be talking over one of the games that I played in Master Tier with Blitzcrank and showing you how Yordle Trap can benefit you so much in the early game, mid game, and even the late game. All right, here we go on to the gameplay. As I mentioned, Blitzcrank is the best champion that you want to build Yordle Trap on, because of the way Blitzcrank works in terms of his playstyle and everything else. And one of the big things with Yordle Trap is you want to skip every other item in the game. Of course, you want to start the game off with your support item, because this allows you to get a lot of gold, but you want to skip your boots, you want to skip every other item, and you want to build Yordle Trap as your first item. This means that you get the item as soon as possible, and you can try and get stacks, you can try and lower the armor and magic resist of enemy champions, and you can get the ball rolling. If you delay this item to your second or third item, it means you might not even be able to get enough stacks. One of the champions which you can probably delay this item on is a champion like Hecarim, as I explained at the start, because you still want items like Trinity Force as your first item, because you want to get the extra damage and the extra Sheen passive from Trinity Force. But in terms of supports, you always want to build Yordle Trap. Forget about your boots. Your boots don't matter that much. Yordle Trap means that you can start stacking this item as quick as possible. Now, in terms of this gameplay itself, this actually isn't really the best gameplay for, or the best game, sorry, I should say, for Blitzcrank. The gameplay is great. However, the lane is very tough because I'm against Braum, and Braum is one of the biggest counters to Blitzcrank because you don't really have a way of engaging and hooking on champions like Braum and Ashe, and especially since I have a Samira in lane, which makes it even more difficult because since Samira doesn't really have the range to get the zoning control and the zoning potential for us in the laning phase. So what you're going to be seeing in the early game is just me and Samira playing very passive. I can't really walk up. I'm trying to land hooks, but the enemy Ashe is playing very well at playing behind her minions. And when I have my hook on cooldown, she's stepping up, trying to auto attack and trying to deal damage. The problem is, if I hook someone like Braum, I'm not going to get any benefit at all from hooking Braum. Braum can use his first ability and his passive to be able to stun me in place. He has his shield to be able to block a lot of damage. And he can also use his second ability to dash back to an ally champion or an ally minion, which means he's not going to be able to, you know, do anything. Just like that, for example. Look at that. Perfect timing. It's like I timed it perfectly. So this means that most of the time when you want to pick Blitzcrank, you want to pick him as kind of a last pick, or at least know what the enemy support is playing, since you want to be picking him against enchanter supports, because enchanter supports are what make Blitzcrank so annoying to play against. As we do a little bit of a roam there to get first blood, which is really nice, and now we're trying to escape and try our best. We should be able to escape this perfectly fine. Kha'Zix's evolving. I had to block Kha'Zix there with the auto attack from Ashe. I'm pretty sure he would have died there, to be honest, if I didn't walk up and get the auto attacks there from the enemy AD carry. But yeah, as I was mentioning, you want to put Blitzcranks into enchanter supports. As I missed my hook there, unfortunately, as I think I misplaced my hook and I aimed it in a direction I didn't want to. Yeah, you want to play Blitzcrank against enchanter supports because you have so much power when you have your hook. You also can deal a lot more damage, and you have another champion to hook. In this game, I really only have two champions that I want to hook, which is the Victor and the Ashe, which is why you're seeing that I'm not really using my hook on cooldown. I'm waiting for Ashe to make one little mistake and try and get an opportunity to kill this Ashe. But again, she's making it very difficult. Again, she has her ultimate, she has everything else, and it makes it so difficult for me to actually walk up and land a hook because there's so much crowd control, so many ways to stop me blocking and dealing the damage that I want to. This is why this laning phase is really tough. And again, if you're against someone like a Lulu, a Nami, you can walk up and you can create that pressure for yourself very, very easily. Again, you can probably zone enemy champions, you can probably do a lot of damage, and you can try and land the hook to deal damage. Again, here, look, I'm trying to land my hook. I make a mistake here, unfortunately, and I actually, you know, the Braum, sorry, uses the ultimate as soon as I land a hook, and it means that my hook basically becomes useless. And this is why Blitzcrank sometimes is known as the most useless support, and why people don't really like to play with a Blitzcrank support. But it's because people don't understand when to pick Blitzcrank. That's the big thing. If you know when to pick Blitzcrank, if you know how to play and how to use his hook correctly in lane, then you can actually use it to your benefit. And you can see here, my first back, when I go back to base, since I was able to get that first kill in that first roam, I was able to get Yordle Trap as the first item. No boots, no nothing. I want to get Yordle Trap as quick as possible to try and get stacks as fast as I can. You can see here, I'm trying to roam into the mid lane. I was trying to cancel the back from Victor and maybe thinking that, you know, I can catch him out. Unfortunately not. So I'm going to move towards the Rift Herald here. You can see Amumu also moving towards the Rift Herald. This is something that I always love to do as supports. Again, because the big reason of being able to use your Lux ultimate went a bit wide there. I should be able to kill the Wukong. There we go. We killed the Wukong. That was all because of my roam. And one of the big reasons I want to roam to Rift Herald is because Rift Herald in general is a lot stronger than Dragon. I want to roam. I want to get the advantage. I hooked the Mordekaiser there as well. So there we go. We already got 2 stacks of Yordle Trap. You can see the little 400 symbol down here. I know that I've got 2 stacks already, that I've shared 200 gold each towards the entire team. One was Wukong and the other was Mordekaiser, because I was able to land that hook. And that's why you want to build this item first. I've already shared 400 gold with myself and the entire enemy team, which is excellent. It's so good that I was able to do this, which is really nice. My hook's up here in 2 seconds. I want to try and look for a hook. Unfortunately, the Victor stun kind of screwed me over. I'm trying to look for a hook here since I know Kha'Zix is over the wall. So if I land a hook, then Kha'Zix can jump over the wall afterwards, just like that. That's another stack. That's 600 gold shared towards the team. And this is why you want to build Yordle Trap as a first item. You do not want to build boots. You don't want to delay your Yordle Trap. You build that as a first item, you gain a ton of gold for your entire team, which is great. Samira also getting a kill there as well is great. Unfortunately, she's going to die for it. Us getting the Rift Herald in the mid lane means we can get the extra stacks. We can get the extra gold available. So yeah, I mean, roaming towards Rift Herald is something that I always do as a support. And if you're in a high enough elo, people will understand why you're rotating to a support. I know a lot of people say that, oh, if you rotate to support, your AD carry is going to troll, your AD carry is going to flame you or whatever. That's still not your fault at the end of the day. It's your AD carry's fault not understanding why you're rotating towards Rift Herald and why you're trying to get the advantage. Again, the reason why I rotate to Rift Herald was secure that Rift Herald, secure some tower places for the team, secure some more gold, and also win the fight. Me rotating to that Rift Herald allowed me to kill the Wukong, get the advantage for my team, which means we was able to take the Rift Herald. Again, here the enemy champions are doing a great job of being able to stand behind minions every single time I have my hook available, showing how strong it can be when you know how to play against Blitzcrank. I think we're going to get towered over here. I think I can see the Wukong coming. The Victor's also coming up as well. Yeah, I'm going to try my best here to defend Samira, but it's very difficult. I try and land my hook. I try and survive as much as possible. Knock-ups, everything possible. And the Kha'Zix comes in to save the day as well. The AoE silence that you have on your ultimate is so damn powerful. And again, another stack towards Yordle Trap. As you can see, I only got 1 stack there, which was another 200 gold. So I went from 600 up to 800. So I shared 100 gold towards myself and 100 gold towards the Kha'Zix, since he was the only one that was close by. So yeah, I mean, AoE silence, the tankiness that I get from Yordle Trap as well, the movement speed to keep me alive from Yordle Trap. These are just some of the things and one of the reasons why I was able to survive this tower dive. You can see I'm pinging the mid lane here because the Victor is dead. They don't have any wave clear with 3 enemy champions in the top lane. So we can actually look to take advantage here. This is why I'd quickly ultied the wave, because I want to try and get this first tower of the game. I want to try and get this mid lane tower, and that's exactly what we do. Oh, that's not even first lane tower. Sorry, I didn't realize the bot lane tower went down already. But still, getting the extra tower meant that we can get an extra bit of gold. We did lose the top lane tower, but honestly, it's not that bad. It's actually pretty good that we lost this top lane tower. It means that Samira can walk to lane and has a bit more free time when she's looking to try and farm and get a couple of her items. You can see another item I have here as well is Magnetron. This is actually not really used on that many champions. Again, it's a very unique item, but works very well on Blitzcrank, since you can use it when you're hooking an enemy champion. You can escape back towards the base. Really nice knock up here. Really nice play. Can we get the kill? We should be able to get the kill here onto Ashe. There we go. Another 200 gold, up to 1,000 gold already. That's one of the main reasons why I use Magnetron, is because I can use it to escape, but I can also use it to engage as well at the same time. I just realized having a Moo top lane as well. Another knock up here, and hopefully that could be another stack. Knock up, knock up, knock up, knock up, knock up. Look soon. Walk up. Knock up. Another 200 gold. There you go. 1.2 thousand gold for my team in 10 minutes. Again, this is not 1,200 gold that I'm getting, which would be completely busted. That is what I've been sharing towards myself and my entire team. And I can go back to base now and I can get Zeke's convergence. Really nice hook there. I was able to land on the Ashe. One of the big things that also you can note when playing against Blitzcrank is Cleanse actually works towards his hook. So if you get hooked, you can actually use Cleanse to stop the hook, and you can also cleanse preemptively so the hook actually doesn't land, which I'm pretty sure Ashe could have done. I think Ashe does have Cleanse this game. So if you predict that you're going to get hooked, you can use cleanse, and then you're not going to get hooked at all, which means that you can stop getting, you know, hooked and stop getting CC'd and caught out. Which Ashe used the cleanse after she got hooked, which meant that we were still able to deal enough damage anyway, because Blitzcrank is pretty underrated in terms of damage. He does a crazy amount of damage. Now, as you can see here, the big things that I want to try and do in these fights towards these dragons is zone control. I want to walk up and I want to zone the enemies away. I want the enemies to be scared when they try and walk up to me. I'm going to walk into the pit here, and I'm going to try and land a hook here onto Ashe. It's going to be a bit difficult, but there we go. We land the hook. Again, Ashe uses cleanse too early. Too late, sorry. She used cleanse too late. She still got hooked into the fight. Yes, she doesn't get knocked up. She doesn't get hit with the silence, but she still get hits with the damage. She still get hits with the follow-up from my entire team as well, which, again, the Ashe there in that scenario should be standing behind Braum, because as long as the Ashe stands behind Braum, there's no way that I can hook her, because every single time in these fights, I'm always keeping my hook for Ashe and for Victor. They're the only two champions in this game that I can land hooks on and deal enough damage. So that's what I was able to do. I was able to wait for the Ashe to overstep and, you know, deal be a bit too aggressive. Okay, I wasn't missed that hook there. I was able to wait for the Ashe to walk up and to be over aggressive, and then find the angle, find the hook to get the kill, which is really, really nice. We go back to base now. Zeke's Convergence is my second item. Again, just works very well with Blitzcrank, because when you use your silence, you get that AoE slow around you. You can also deal damage at the same time. So again, another item that works great. Gives you mana as well, so you don't need to worry about mana or anything like that. And as you're seeing in this gameplay, you do not need to buy Fimbulwinter. Fimbulwinter is by far one of the worst items in the game. Fimbulwinter delays your Yordle trap spike. It delays any sort of spike in general, because you're starting the game basically with a tier, so you're gaining no stats or anything at all, and you can just get so much more from getting the extra value from items like Yordle trap, Zeke's Convergence. Because as you can see, I'm going Yordle trap into boots, into Zeke's Convergence, and then Frozen Heart. Zeke's Convergence and Frozen Heart is more than enough mana, to get you rolling. And again, that doesn't take into account things like, you can see I'm trying to look for the Victor. There you go. You see, as soon as the Victor stays isolated, I'm trying to look for him. I can actually probably look for the Victor here if I flash over. Maybe we just hook the... I'm trying to hook the Victor. There you go. There's the angle that I wanted. I don't think we get the kill, though, which is kind of unfortunate. I'm trying to flash away. I'm trying to escape. I think I escaped this. Oh, my God. How do I escape this, by the way? You can see how I'm waiting for hook every single time. For some reason, Aramumu is just pushing in the top lane when he could have just easily walked towards jungle here, looked for a flank, and probably won the team fight for the entire team, but he wants to split push anyway. But yeah, you can see I'm just waiting for my hook every single time, but I'm never running out of mana. I don't need Fimbulwinter. I never run out of mana. And this is a big mistake that a lot of Blitzcrank players do, is they build Fimbulwinter and you just become so weak in the early game. If you get stats in the early game, if you get more tankiness, more damage in the early game, you can carry these fights. You can carry these games. As you can tell, I've not had a single death this game so far. 3, 0, and 15. I honestly don't know how I didn't die there, to be fair. I think Wukong could have killed me. As you can see now, this is another way that you can play Blitzcrank, playing around enemy vision and playing around Fog of War, playing around these bushes and waiting for the right moment to land a hook. Unfortunately there, Ashe got vision, which again, Ashe is a pretty annoying champion to play against since she has that. Again, look, you can see there, I tried to stop the hook from landing. I'm trying to use the Magnetron here to escape, but I don't think, yeah, I'm dead. That's one of the main reasons why I build Magnetron on Blitzcrank, is sometimes you can overstep a little bit. And one of the main reasons why I was stepping forward there is because Samira, I thought, was going to get completely caught out by Ashe ultimate, by Braum ultimate. So me standing in front of the Samira, I basically just act as a meat shield for her. I'm just trying to escape and trying to survive some of the damage. And trying to block some of the damage for the Samira, but again, I kind of got myself killed for it. If Samira or Lux stayed within range, and that, again, this is one of the main reasons why Magnetron is so strong, is that you can use Magnetron to dash towards an enemy champion. Hopefully Victor can actually die here. You could dash towards an ally champion, not an enemy champion. You could dash towards an ally champion, and you'll be able to get to a point of the game where you can, like exactly like this, for example. I dash towards an ally champion, I save the Samira, and I'm trying to walk up here, and then Samira gets a triple kill, and then a quadra kill in the end as well. Hopefully, no. Okay, I have to take this kill onto the Brom. Eventually, right? Eventually, I kill this Brom. I mean, we're at a point in the game now where my ulti is on, as you can see, like a 5-second cooldown. I think if I hex flash here, I get the movement speed. I hook once, I ulti, and he's dead. Boom. There we go. Heads. There you go. Finally. Actually, delaying the respawn time of Brom is actually very, very good. Very, very good, because it means that they don't all spawn at the same time. I'm actually using my ultimate here to clear the mid wave. As you can see, my ulti's on a 5-second cooldown. I don't mind if I have to use the Zeke's convergence passive. I just use my ultimate to clear the wave, and it means that the Mordekaiser, as you can see here, is stuck on the wave and is forced to walk into Baron and lose minions mids. Ashe lands the ultimate. Again, I'm waiting until I see someone like the Wukong or the Ashe. Or the Victor. One of them 3 champions. If I hook one of them 3 champions, I mean, Amumu's running in and dying as well. Unfortunate. If I hook one of them 3 champions, I can probably solo kill them. If I hook like a Mordekaiser or Brom, I do nothing at all. Again, I'm using my ulti here to clear the spot lane wave. So I want this wave to get pushed in with the Baron buff. This dragon doesn't really mean anything. If I'm not mistaken, we both have 1 dragon each. I can't remember. I haven't used... Okay, they didn't get soul anyway. Unfortunately, I hooked the Blitzcrank there, which is kind of bad. Samira's trying to go in here. Samira's trying to smurf. I mean, Samira's doing pretty well, to be fair. Dashing around, healing. Oh, okay, Samira. I mean, this was really well played by Samira. Really, really well played. I mean, surely they don't have any anti-heal, right? Because if they had anti-heal, then I don't think Samira was able to heal up that much. As you're seeing here, I can flash in, use my ultimate, use my last knock-up. I mean, to be fair, I could use my ultimate twice there on Victor. I think we can end the game here in the mid lane. As you can see at the bottom, 2,300 gold with Yordle trap. Absolutely crazy. Like, the amount of gold that I was able to get this game from Yordle trap because I was able to build it as a first item is great. I mean, even though the stats for the item are not great, because it's such a cheap item and because you can build this before your boots or anything else, it makes it a viable option if you can actually roam and take advantage of Yordle trap and gain the extra amount of gold. So you have 2,300 gold there with Yordle trap. Again, this kind of shows how Blitzcrank can be one of the best champions with Yordle trap, because your whole kit evolves around your hooks and your knockups, which work out great. So yeah, pretty good game overall. I'm not actually too sure how much damage I did. There you go, MVP as well. Not too sure how much damage I did this game. Why do I feel like I did a lot of damage? I mean, I might have done 4, 1, and 21. 14,000 damage. Hey, that's not too bad, to be fair. 14,000 damage as a support. I'll take that. It's pretty good. Look at my damage taken as well. 12,600 damage taken. All thanks to passive shield as well at the same time. Yeah, 2,350 gold I was able to share among myself and also the entire enemy team. But as you can see, I mean, my gold in general, look at that, 13,580 gold. I have more gold than my mid. I have more gold than my top lane. I have more gold than everyone on the enemy team except for their mid laner. I mean, yeah, just absolutely crazy. And yeah, as you can see in this gameplay, one of the ways in which Yordle trap can work. If there are any champions you have any questions on with Yordle trap, or if there are any champions that you feel like Yordle trap can work great on, let me know in the comments. And as always, if you enjoyed the content on this channel, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.